Hello friends, in this session today, let's understand the concept of Power BI, time intelligence activities. Let's understand. Hope you practiced the previous classes on Power BI DAX pertaining to measures, columns, and joins. You practiced row level security and other relevant activities pertaining to DAX calculations. Then we are good to proceed for DAX, time intelligence. Let's see. Let's launch Power BI. I have one sales data from a Adventure Works company. This sales data has something called sales amount, tax amount, freight, etc., including three columns, date columns, order date, due date, ship date. Okay, so three older date columns. Now let's understand how to apply time intelligence activities on this sample data. Let's understand a simple straightforward process. Here we go. The data analysis expressions DAX includes time intelligence functions that enable us to manipulate data using time periods, including days, months, quarters, years, and so on. Then help us to build and compare calculations over these periods. What is time intelligence? The time intelligence functions in DAX are a set of predefined functions that give us the insight from the date and time perspectives. So most of the analysis by date and time are in that particular category. Mostly in real world, we usually analyze the data based on year and time. Like for example, year to date, year on year, month to date, etc. These calculations have one common entity, that is date time dimension. Back to our report data source. For example, due date. You shall be receiving this data source. You simply import the data source into Power BI in-memory database, or simply get data and browse the data source. You see that date columns are auto detected. Not only that, internally table is auto formatted. For the date column, table is auto formatted with one auto designed hierarchy. This is important. Whenever your data source has some date and or time related fields, automatically the data type is auto detected. First thing. Number two, one date hierarchy is auto formatted. We know hierarchy means ordered collection of attributes. Here time attributes, they are automatically available, enabling us for easy calculations, time oriented calculations. Why we require it? To compare trends. And the businesses rely on evaluating the performance of campaigns over time window. The business stakeholders want to know about their key performance indicators. We call them KPI. And we may need to also compare with our yearly targets, monthly profits. or weekly targets, daily closing balance, etc. Let's understand how to implement it. I shall include all these notes anyway. Let's stay tuned, let's observe carefully. I shall include all this document in the notes. The time intelligence functions are listed here. Closing balance month, closing balance quarter, year, date, add dates, between dates, in period dates, month to date, quarter to date, year to date, end of month, end of quarter, end of year, first date, first non-blank value, last date, last blank, so on. These are all the time intelligence functions we have in DAX. For example, our previous day, previous month, previous quarter, previous year, same period last year. Like for example, this month versus last year, this month, again same month, how the sales are, the trend can be easily evaluated. How to work with time intelligence? Let's see. To work with DAX time intelligence functions listed above, the data model, whatever data we import into Power BI, it should have a date table. What is meant by date table? Yes, here it is. The date table is a table that meets the following requirements. It must have a column of data type as date and time, date or time, anyone, and known as date column. For example, here it is like due date, order date, ship date, like this. At least one date column is required. Column values must be unique. That's another important thing. Columns should not have any blank values. No missing values. Blank does not contain blank value means no missing dates. It should be in sequence. Should be in a proper sequence. And date column must span full years. What does it mean? For example, you see something called order date. 2007 old data, 2007 or 2008, like this, 2009 and so on. We should be able to see the complete date here, complete values. Next, this one, something like this. You see 2005, 2006. See here some complete date value, date, month, day, something like that, or year, month, day, something like that. You see 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, so on. It should contain valid, well formatted date, full year. I mean, YYYY should be complete year value. And the date table must be marked as date table in the data model. In the Power BI data model, date table must be marked as date table. We have to mark it specifically. How to do that? Let's see. Remember, these are the prerequisites to start with DAX time intelligence. How to mark it as date? Here it is. Firstly, go to the report, select the required column. Make sure the column is mentioned like this, date time. It should be mentioned as date time. The data type should be date time. In fact, it's auto detected and we see the content here like this. In case if our data source do not have any date column, in such a case, we need to generate a date table separately, either using SQL or DAX or Power Query, some means or the other. A calendar date we need to generate separately. Make sure we have the date field which is marked as date in the data model or the input data source to start with our calculations. Let's proceed for understanding how to perform these date time calculations. Just now I was telling, we can also generate a new date table if required. Here it is. There are two options when you want to use date dimension. Here it is. For example, we can create our own date dimension. This one. Let's take 2016 to 2023. This is one DAX expression to define a calendar table. Here we go. Copy, and here it is in table tools. See here, table tools in Power BI. By default, you see home. In our example, date table already exists. What if we don't have this one? Assume there is one data source with country wise, company wise, month wise, sales. There is no date column. You would like to add it. Then what we do? Go to table tools. Okay. Go to table tools. New table. New table. And then we see one expression. Here it is. We see one expression. In that expression, specify. In that expression, we need to specify the relevant DAX like this: start value, year, month, day, end value, year, month, day. Why like this? Simple. Full year has to be mentioned, one of the rules. Number two, there should not be any blank values. Number three, there should not be any missing values. And calendar is a DAX function to auto generate the calendar data, date values with start and end date 2016 Jan 1st to 2023 December 31st. Here it is. Once the table is generated, something like this, see here, something like this, you get the complete content in this way with 12 AM as the default value. What we learned? Simply new table and date column. Though we see only day and month, expand, we should be able to see year also. Year, quarter, month, day. Auto generated. The hierarchy is auto generated. We call it as date table, or also called as dim date. In short, we usually call it dim date. Dimension date. Dimension means here anything which is detailed. Here we have year values detailed. We can always edit the range, start value, end value. Next, this dimension date has one column called date time column. This one. In our example right now, the table already exists with the relevant data, especially the time data, date time data. Let's understand how to define time calculations. If in case you have a auto generated, dedicated, newly created date table, you may need to link it to your business data separately again, like a join. It's a different process altogether. See, you have some dates, you have some sales, you need some linking in between them. Generally, customer would be giving us the relevant linked data, usually. If not, we need to work with the customer to get the proper linking between so and so date, so and so sales, so and so date, so and so other sales, like this. Day wise sales, day wise purchases, day wise inventory, day wise ticketing, day wise reservations, etc. Joins we can use. In our example right now, we have a pre-formatted due date or order date, any one you take. And let's understand how to define time intelligence in our class notes. So here it is. This is another example to get the dimension date based on business data. Now our actual requirement agenda for today, time calculations. Very, very common time calculations we are learning here. Number one, year to date or total Y2D or dates Y2D. When we say year to date, time intelligence calculation, there are two options to implement it. One is total Y2D, other one dates Y2D. Two things. Total Y2D, dates Y2D. Let's see both. Syntactically they are different, but the usage wise both are same. Minor difference. Let's see. Year to date calculation is an aggregation of value from beginning of the year till date. For example, year to date value of sales can be a summary of all sales from 1st of January of this year till date. Right now we have this, we are right now in Wednesday, okay, June 14th 2023. Assume you are at this particular date. Now from January 1st 2023 till date, Jan 1st to June 23rd, complete all sales till date, that is year to date. Syntax: total Y2D function we use for time intelligence, total Y2D, expression, dates, filter, and year end date. This one. So the expression that applies aggregation of value, example sum, and dates. The date field for the date dimension, the date field of the time dimension. Let's see. Sales Y2D equal to total Y2D of fact internet sales, sum, expression, and date value, fact internet sales. Let's see. Select and go to Power BI. I'll first save this one. I'll first save this value. I'll call it as time intelligence report. Well, right click internet sales, new measure, this one. New measure, and we need to supply the measure value. Sales Y2D like this. total Y2D of sum of internet sales expression and the relevant date column of the table that has date value. Click commit to save the or to store the DAX measure. What is that? Sales Y2D, this one. As we know, the measure would be represented like this. Back to our note, testing above measure. Select table visual. Select table visual. For example, a table like this. And next, include order date time attribute, the internal timetable or auto generated timetable in this particular data model, this particular data source. Order date time attribute, this one, include this first. Then what happens? You remember, this order date is the item we are using in our time intelligence calculation now. And you remember, whenever you have order date field in the data model data source, hierarchy is auto created: year, quarter, month, day. Select it and include sales Y2D that we define here based on that order date. Include sales Y2D where into this table. Now you see values 2005, 2006, all year values like this, in this way. Next, now remove day from table visual, test the calculations. Remove month, test the calculations. Here it is. Remove, for example, day. See, the calculations are auto generated, measures are auto generated calculations, right? Or uncheck month, we see the calculations automatically in this way. Next, then comes alternative for year to date, total Y2D, alternative dates Y2D. Dates Y2D DAX function used to include more complex DAX expressions with filters. Here you go. This one, sales Y2D equal to calculate. What to calculate? Sum of sales amount. And dates Y2D. This is the actual function we are learning. Earlier, only total Y2D function. Now, calculate. Inside calculate, we have dates Y2D function with sales table order date. This results in a table as the output, table with all dates in the period year to date. And for this reason, because we are having all dates of the period, we need to include a calculate function. Remember, total Y2D, this results in a value, whereas dates Y2D returns in a table, not just a value like an array. Something like this. Returns scalar value, returns value, int or float. Whereas here returns table. That's the main difference. I'll just copy, go to fact internet sales and new measure. Let me just right click new measure, and here it is, sales Y2D equal to calculate sum of internet sales amount, dates Y2D function. Click tick mark like this. Next, once we run this DAX expression, now here it is. Let's move on to testing it. What I do, in this table, I uncheck sales Y2D. Let me include the entire hierarchy, year, quarter, month, day, and this way. Result will be same. Purpose is same. The expression syntax is different. So we can have Y2D either by using total Y2D DAX function or based on dates Y2D inside calculate. Performance wise, the second method is better. It returns a table, complete table. Instead of a value for each year or each day, each month, each quarter, we get the entire table of data as is, like an array. You can use either one, but second option a better option. Next, same way we have, for example, the next item. I'm listing the important items here. Sales Y2D physical, total Y2D, or calculate dates Y2D. Here it is. What is that? Calculate dates Y2D. And here we are having total Y2D, dates Y2D alternate to each other. In the earlier example, the same example right now you see on the screen also. Again, same thing. Total Y2D, dates Y2D. But here filter. So end of the year is mentioned. You don't want to calculate until today or until December 31st. You would like to calculate until June 30th only. You don't want to calculate the values until December 31st. Here it is. Right click, new measure. Right click, new measure. What we are doing? The same old concept with a filter. This is the filter. You would like to stop your calculation at June 30th. That's the meaning. Total Y2D or dates Y2D. Same concept. Here we have total Q2D, quarter to date. Means first day of the quarter till date. Either total Q2D or dates Q2D inside calculate. Either of them we can use. What is this? Total Q2D, meaning quarter to date. First day of the quarter till date. You would like to have the sales. Right click, new measure. And we know how to test each measure by using table or any visualization. We can happily test the values. Click on tick mark like this. So first day of the quarter till date. or till whatever date you mention in the filter concept here. Simply say comma and you can give the filter value, optional. Same way we have something called month to date. So year to date, quarter to date, month to date. Same thing again, total MTD or calculate dates MTD, either of them. Select. I'm taking these expressions at random. I request you to practice all the expressions that you see here. And on this particular sample data, I'll be including one Microsoft website link that has more examples on this time intelligence. I'm listing important activities here right now in the class notes, and we learned how to define the calculations, how to test them like this, like for example Y2D or month 2D, etc. We can even test multiple measures, we can test them. And for now you practice these items carefully first. You practice these items carefully. Don't include day during your calculation, include year, quarter, month. Then you see the difference clearly between each of these time calculations. And you would be receiving the class notes with one Microsoft website link for more information on the time intelligence functions. During your free time, please see if we can refer to them for more clear understanding. And if in case you are planning for PL 300 certification, whatever we are learning in our classes should be absolutely enough. Ignoring the additional information you get from the external websites like Microsoft website link. Whatever we are learning in our classes should be absolutely fine, pretty sure. Just stick tuned to our classes, practice the things thoroughly. We'll stop for now. Practice these items as is. Use me for your doubts and clarifications. Thank you so much. Have a nice time. Thank you.